Hello and welcome to your next installment of your Yoga 101 series. So what we're focusing on today is standing balancing poses. So trying to find your balance, a lot of the time on one leg in different positions. And we'll talk about how your drishti or your focus gaze can help you to get into the correct alignment. We will start with a warm-up though, revisiting what we've learned in earlier sequences with our vinyasa flow. So coming up to a standing position, feet together at the top of your mat, hands to heart center. Roll your shoulders down and back, lift up through the crown of your head. And then as you inhale, extend your hands towards the sky, palms touch. Exhale to swan dive forward, bend the knees as much as you need to, fingertips touch the ground. Inhale to lift halfway, fingers stay on the ground or come to your shins, and then step your feet back into your high plank, top of a push-up position, shift your shoulders forward, knees down onto the ground. Bend your elbows alongside your rib cage, chaturanga, come all the way to the mat. Inhale, baby cobra, use your back strength to lift your chest off the ground, chin comes back down. Come back through your knees, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Feel free to walk your dog out, pressing one heel down at a time as you open up through the back of your legs, calf muscles, Achilles, remembering to keep rolling your shoulders away from your ears so there is space between your ears and your arms, creating your upside down V shape from your hands to your hips to your heels. If you find it hard to keep a neutral spine with straight legs, remember to bend your knees, lengthen your spine. Then coming up onto the balls of the feet, and start to walk your feet up towards your hands, toe heel the feet out to hip distance, hang in ragdoll for a few moments. So knees can be as bent as you need them to be to take pressure off your lower back and hamstrings. And that is an alignment principle you can take through the rest of your practice. So knees bent or straight, reaching for your elbows, hang heavy. Maybe a little rock from side to side, lengthening through your spine. Then bringing your hands back onto the mat, toe heel your feet in together to touch. Inhale to lift halfway, roll your shoulders back, make sure the hands aren't hovering. Fold forward, let it go. Then inhale, come all the way to stand, palms touch, and bring your hands through heart center. So we'll work through sun salutation A one more time with our breath. Inhale, hands to the sky, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bend the knees if you need to. Inhale to lift and lengthen, shoulders back. Step your feet back into high plank. Option to keep the knees lifted this time. Weight into the tippy toes, shoulders come forward. Elbows bend to 90 degrees. This time, upward facing dog if you're ready. Only thing touching the ground, tops of the feet and your hands. Then flip over your toes, push back, downward facing dog. Come up onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, start to walk your feet up towards your hands, feet together. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way to stand, palms touch, and bring your hands to heart center. Beautiful. Now, as you come to your Tadasana, your mountain pose, bring your hands to heart center, so Samastiti, and you're going to focus now on lifting up through the crown of your head. So you're standing tall. Roll your shoulders down and back. Neutral spine. Glutes are slightly engaged. Now bring some awareness to your legs. We're not trying to lock our knees out and to hang out in the knee joints. What we're trying to do is keep just this tiny micro bend, a little softness behind your knees. We're not bending the knees, but we're not locking them out. So can you just take the lock out of your knees? And as you do that tiny little movement, can you start to engage your quadriceps, lifting your kneecaps? And start to notice the difference between that and locking your knees out and relaxing through the muscles of your legs. And see the difference? So stand nice and tall, proud. Shoulders down and back. Neutral spine. Engage your quadriceps to lift your kneecaps with that tiny softness behind the knees. Now lift all 10 toes off the ground. Feel the activation in the arches of your feet. Keep the activation, ground your toes back down towards the earth. And you'll start to notice that your mountain pose is active. It's not a pose where we're simply standing and hanging out in our joints and relaxing. We are uplifted, grounding down through the soles of the feet, lifting up through the crown of your head, gently hugging muscles in towards bones so you are engaged, active, and this is where your standing balances grow from. This is where you come back to at the end of each vinyasa flow, so that we're stabilizing and strengthening and active rather than simply relaxing in our standing poses. Beautiful. So from here, knuckles of the big toes are touching, a little bit of space between your heels. Take a deep bend through your knees so that you are sitting into an imaginary chair. So you sit back into your imaginary chair and sweep your arms towards the sky. So this is Utkatasana chair pose. So in your chair pose, you're essentially creating a lightning bolt shape with your body, trying to bring your biceps in line with your ears. And you're sitting down deep into the knees. You're activating the legs, most of the weight, 80% of the weight's back in your heels. You should be able to move your toes freely. If you can't, shift the weight further back. If it's too much for your arms to be alongside the ears, you can cactus your arms out to the side instead. But it's a deep bend through the knees. You're strengthening through the thighs, shifting the weight back into the heels. One more breath and relax. So that's Utkatasana, powerful chair pose. Quite a common pose as you work through your hot and different flow classes. Now, from your chair pose, you can start to feel that strengthening through the base. What we're going to do now is work into eagle pose. So we're taking some of those alignment principles, but we'll be balancing on our left leg to start with. Bring your hands to heart center, and then as you inhale, bring your arms up overhead, palms touch. Now bring your left arm underneath your right. So you're crossing at the elbows. Bend. Try to bring the palms together by twisting your wrists. And then spin your wrists so that your thumbs are facing your face. Now, if that's too much for your shoulders, simply bring your hands to opposite shoulders instead. So this is your modification if this is not available. And then sit down back into your imaginary chair. So your legs come back to chair pose, sitting back into the heels. Now activate your left leg as your standing leg, and you're going to bring your right leg and cross it over the left. Then, if you sit down a little deeper, maybe you can tuck your right toes behind your left calf muscle. The deeper you bend into your standing leg, the easier it will be to wrap the toes. Once you have your position, whether you're wrapped or not, you might simply just cross the leg and have the hands at your shoulders. But when you find your shape, sit down a little deeper, then square your hips and shoulders so that your elbows and knees are directly on top and below each other. One more breath and release. Feet together, hands to the sky, and bring them back to heart center. You can give your legs a little shake out if you need to. Now, one other thing I want to speak about before we move to the other side is drishti, also known as your focused gaze. If you focus on one point in front of you, and that point shouldn't be a moving target, so it shouldn't be focused on another person, but if there's something in the room that you can focus your gaze on, it will help you with your balance. So we call that drishti. So this time, hands to heart center. Lift your hands towards the sky, palms touch. And you're going to cross at the elbows, maybe twist at the wrists, maybe starting to turn your thumbs back towards you. Sit back into your imaginary chair, shift the weight into your heels. This time your right leg is your standing leg. So you're going to lift your left leg up and over, crossing at the knees. Maybe you can deepen through the bend, perhaps wrap your left toes behind the right calf muscle. Then square your hips and shoulders towards the front of your room, and your drishti, your focus on one point. See if that helps you with your balance. You're wrapping your arms and your legs. Imagine that your limbs are wet towels that you're trying to wring all the water out of. So it's a compression pose. You're restricting blood flow. You're balancing, strengthening, finding that compression. One more breath and release. Feet together, hands to the sky, palms touch. Bring your hands to heart center. So that's your eagle pose, otherwise known as Garudasana. So you can see how there's a lot of compression and twisting in that pose. So you find a variation that works with your current ability. Now we're going to work into open eagle pose as well. So once again, you are balancing on one leg, but instead of coming into that deep twist and compression, this one is a more open variation. So you're going to activate your left leg as your standing leg. You're going to bring your right ankle above your left knee and start to draw your right knee out to the side and flex your right toes. Bring your hands to heart center. Then start to bend through your left knee. So you hinge at your hips. The chest does come forward, but we're not rounding through our spine. So the spine stays neutral. Press the palms towards each other. That will help you with your balance, working both sides of the body in towards your midline. Now you're stretching through the back of your right hip and strengthening through your left leg. Your drishti, your focus is still on one point, a point that doesn't move, to help you with your balance. Take one more breath here. Maybe you're coming down a little lower. And then to come out, you're going to come back up to standing, bring your right knee in towards you, and gently bring the right foot down. You can give your legs a little shake out. So you can see how this variation is more open, but you're still focusing, you're still balancing on one leg, you're still finding the same bend through the knees similar to chair pose and your Garudasana eagle. So hands to heart center, working towards our other side. So you're going to bring your left ankle above your right knee. Now draw your left knee out to the side, flex your left toes, start to focus on one point, glue your hands together, it will help you with your balance. Start to bend through your right knee. So you're hinging from your hips, neutral spine, hands to heart center, drishti on one point. You're stretching through the back of the left hip. You're strengthening through your right leg. Coming down a little deeper into your right knee. Keep your focus. Keep pressing your hands together. It will help you with your balance. One more deep breath. And then to release, slowly come back up to standing. Left knee comes in towards your chest and bring that left foot down. Give your legs a little shake out. So you can start to see how focus gaze or drishti comes into play to help you with your balance. If you're looking around and you're not focused, it's really hard to stay in a standing balance. We also talk about the vertical midline. So the center line traveling along your body. So a lot of the time we'll start by bringing two sides of the body in towards each other to help find your center, which helps to then ground you down and allows you then to lift up and hold your balance a lot easier as well. So wobbles are always welcome, but how can you start to minimize those wobbles? By being more grounded and uplifted, engaging the muscles and your drishti to find your balance. Okay, so we've worked through our chair pose, our eagle pose, and our open eagle. Now we're going to work through aeroplane pose, which is essentially a modification of warrior 3. So in our lunging sequence, we work through warrior 1. So warrior 1, back heel down, hands to the sky. We work through warrior 2. Now we're going to work through variations of warrior 3, which is in fact a standing balance. So coming into the middle of your mat, activate your right leg as your standing leg, and you're going to bring your arms out to the side. These are your aeroplane wings, and you're going to hinge forward, and it's almost like a seesaw action. So as your chest comes down, your left leg starts to rise. So your arms are out to the side or slightly behind you with the palms facing down. Your drishti focus is on one point just in front of your mat, so you keep your head and neck in line with the rest of the spine. Engaging through your back muscles, square your hips so you're not opening out towards the side of the room. Square your hips so that your kneecap is still facing the ground. Now flex your left toes back towards you. Energy out through the crown of your head and your left heel. One more breath. And then your seesaw comes back to standing, hands to heart center. So that's your aeroplane pose, so your Dakasana. We'll have a play with the other side. So arms out to the side, aeroplane wings. You're going to engage your left leg as your standing leg, and right leg starts to come behind you as you hinge forward with your torso. So you're essentially trying to look like a capital letter T from the side. So trying to keep your leg in line with your torso and your torso in line with your leg. Palms down, aeroplane wings, fingers are sparked, so you're engaging the arms to help you balance, keeping your drishti on one point. One more breath, and then make your way back up to standing. So that is your aeroplane pose, a modification of Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. You can also start to play with variations where maybe your hands are at heart center, the teacher might give you that option, or start to bring your arms forward. So we'll come into full Warrior 3 now and have a play with it and see how your balance is. Now you have the option of bringing your arms directly out in front. You might also find Kali Mudra, interlacing the fingers, releasing index fingers, crossing your thumbs. So this is an option for your arms as well. So bring your hands to heart center, activate your right leg as your standing leg. Start to hinge forward and lift the left leg. So you can stay here with your hands at heart center, or you can bring your arms back out to the side. If you're coming into your Warrior 3, extend your arms out in front of you. Maybe the arms are just long. Maybe now you're interlacing the hands, release the index fingers, cross the thumbs. So once again, trying to look like a capital letter T from the side, keeping your leg in line with your torso and your torso in line with the leg. One more breath. Now with control, come back to standing, hands to heart center. Give your legs a little shake out if you need to, and then we'll have a play with the other side. Hands to heart center. Left leg is your standing leg. You're going to hinge forward, keep your right toes flexed, hinge forward with the torso as you lift your right leg. Now, you can stay in the modification with hands at heart center, maybe extending your arms out wide. Otherwise, Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3, both hands forward, maybe interlacing the hands, cross the thumbs, release your index fingers. Drishti on one point. Keep your breath moving. And then with control, hands to heart center, come back to your standing position. Once again, standing tall and proud, roll the shoulders down and back. So that's your Warrior 3. So you've got your aeroplane, Dakasana, Virabhadrasana 3 is your Warrior 3. Now we'll have a little play with our dancer's pose. So that's Natarajasana. So with your dancer's pose, it is a standing balance, but it's also a shoulder, heart, hip opener. It's a standing back bend. We haven't done a lot of back bends today, so we're just going to take it really gentle. So activate your left leg as your standing leg. Right hand out to the side, palm facing up towards the sky. Now it's really tempting to flip your wrist, which a lot of people do when they're learning this pose. So I want you to avoid that. Simply straighten your arm so your palm is still facing outwards, and you're going to bring your palm and inside arch of your right foot make contact. So making sure that you're not flipping the wrist around, palm facing out, grab the inside arch. Keep your thumb with the rest of your fingers and bring your knees in nice and close together. You're going to extend your left hand towards the sky. Now for some of you, this will be enough. If it's already tricky for you to balance in this position, pause here. You don't need to go any further. If you'd like to explore the back bend, inhale, lift up out of the waist. Then exhale, kick into the back hand first. So it's just a gentle kick as you find a small back bend. Then once you've reached your edge, maybe you're hinging forward a little more if that brings more height with your back foot. You're allowing your right shoulder to disappear behind you. And you're putting a lot of emphasis into your left hand. Your drishti, your focus is strong on one point. If you get wobbly, spark up your left hand. A strong left hand can pull you back into alignment. One more breath. Then with control, hands to heart center, knee in towards chest, both feet down. Close your eyes for a moment and just observe. Observe your heart rate.
And observe your breath. It's natural coming out of Nadarajasana for the heartbeat and the heart rate to be increased. So tap back into your breath to settle everything back down. Then we'll start to work to our other side. So this time, your right leg is your standing leg and your left hand's out to the side. You're going to pick up the inside arch of your left foot. So palm out, straighten through your arm, palm is still facing outwards. Don't flip your wrist, just keep it as it is as you pick up the inside arch of your left foot. Thumb stays with the rest of the fingers, knees nice and close together. Then start to extend your right hand towards the sky. Drishti, focus on one point. And this might be where you stay. Balancing here can already be tricky. Maybe you're starting to kick into your backhand. So keeping the chest upright to start with. Allowing the left shoulder to disappear behind you. Maybe you're coming a little deeper into your back bend. Keep your drishti, your focus on one point. Energize your right fingers. They can pull you back into alignment. Engage your right quadricep, lift your kneecap, make your standing leg strong. Ground down through your feet, but don't grip the ground. So you're just grounding down through the entire foot. One more breath. Then with control, hands to heart center, left knee in, stepping down. Close your eyes. Observe your heart rate and your breath. So you're coming out of that standing balance that is a shoulder, heart, hip opener, standing back bend. Allow everything to settle back down. Then we'll start to work into Vrikshasana or tree pose. So many of you, if you haven't experienced this pose, would have seen photos of people doing this pose. So it is quite a traditional yoga standing balance. So you're going to activate your left leg as your standing leg. Now you have options with your other leg. So your right foot can be next to your ankle. So you can stay on the ground so that the heel is against your ankle and your hands are at heart center. So this is your first option. You can start to elevate the foot. So maybe the foot comes onto your calf muscle. If that's comfortable and you have the range of motion, maybe grabbing the foot and bringing it to your upper inner thigh and bringing your hands back to heart center. Now notice that my foot is either above or below the knee. So you're never bringing the foot onto the knee at all. Our knee is a hinge joint. It should only move this way. We don't want sideways pressure into the knee. So bringing your foot above or below your knee joint and bringing your hands to heart center. Drishti, focus on one point and you're lifting up through the crown of your head, grounding down through the sole of the left foot. Now maybe you're leaving your hands at heart center because we're bringing both sides of the body in towards each other. So hands towards each other, leg and foot in towards each other. That will help you with your balance. Coming into the midline, lifting up through the crown of the head as you ground down through the sole of the left foot. Now, if you have your balance, keep your drishti, maybe extend the branches of your tree, hands towards the sky, maybe finding a mudra or a hand position, whatever feels good for your practice. Take one more beautiful breath. Then bring your hands to heart center, right knee in towards the chest and stepping the right foot down. Give your legs a little shake out. Beautiful. Now we have one more side. Right leg is your standing leg, and you're going to bring your left foot either next to the ankle or start to bring the foot onto your calf muscle. Or if it's available to you, you can start to bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. Now really draw your left knee out. If possible, if I saw you from the side, you should be trying to hide your leg behind your standing leg. Then hands together, lift up through the crown of your head. Press your left foot and right thigh towards each other. Press your hands towards each other. Ground down through the sole of the right foot as you lift up through the crown of your head. Drishti on one point. Engage your right quadricep. And if you have your balance, you can start to extend the branches of your tree. Lifting up, extending, maybe finding your mudra, finding your balance, whether you have your foot high or low, it doesn't matter. You can still find hand positions no matter where you're placing your foot. One more breath. Then bringing your hands to heart center. Left knee comes in and stepping down gently. You can give your legs a little shake out. Now you can see in your tree pose, it's natural to have a little bit of movement in standing balances. Trees aren't made from concrete and neither are we, but it's a matter of trying to minimize that movement by engaging your muscles, breathing, feeling grounded and uplifted, keeping your focused gaze. All of that contributes to you feeling more balanced in your poses. All right, we've got one more pose to have a little bit of a play with, and that pose is half moon. So coming into a warrior two with your left foot forward, coming into your deep lunge, arms are extended. You're going to bring your right hand to your right hip. You're going to bring your left fingertips to the ground and have a little play with lifting your right leg off the ground. Have a little bit of a play of lifting it up. So maybe your chest is facing down towards the ground to start with. Then if you can balance here, maybe the left leg's bent, maybe you can bring your hands onto a block or a book at home. If it's available to you, you can straighten through your left leg. And then from there, maybe you're starting to open out towards the side of the room. So you're stacking your right hip on top of the left, your right shoulder on top of the left, and then maybe you're extending right hand towards the sky. So this is your half moon. Now have a little bit of a play with it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be all extended today. Maybe you're still quite closed, but just have a little play with balancing on your left foot. One more breath, no matter what extension you're in. And then we're all going to meet back in warrior two. So can you take a deep bend through your left knee and step back? You can adjust the feet if you need to. It's just a bit of a play. Then come back through center and turn towards the opposite side. So now you've got your right knee nice and bent into your lunging pose, finding your warrior. And from here, bring your left hand to your left hip, look down past your right toes, and you're going to bring your right fingertips to the ground and have a little play with pouncing and floating the left leg. Maybe it's just a couple of inches off the ground. Maybe you can start to lift that left leg up a little more. If you can find your balance here, then maybe trying to open out towards the side as you stack your hips, stack your shoulders, maybe left hand towards the sky. Flex your left toes back towards you, energy out through the heel. Have a little bit of a play. It doesn't have to be open today. Maybe your hand is still on the hip, maybe chest is towards the ground, and perhaps there's a bend through your knee. So there's all different variations working to open out into your half moon. Now with control, big step back into your warrior two, arms extended, come back through center, hands to heart center, bring your feet into the middle of your mat. So well done. You've worked through quite a few standing balances today. So come to the top of your mat with your feet together. Lift up through the crown of your head, come back to that active standing pose that our standing balances grow from. As you inhale, hands towards the sky, palms touch. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, step or float the feet back. Optional vinyasa flow, knees on or off the ground. Choose your back bend. We'll meet in downward facing dog. And then from your down dog, take your time. You can walk or float the feet up, cross the feet over, lie down on your backs, bring your knees in, nice and close, maybe a little rock from side to side. Maybe a little spine twist, arms out to the side, dropping your knees over to the right. Now, if you'd like to, now that you have experienced your eagle wrap, you might eagle wrap left leg over right in your twist. One more breath. you're going to come back through center. If you eagle wrapped, wrap them the opposite way. Come into your twist. And coming back through center. Any last movements that you are craving before you open out into your Shavasana. Your relaxation at the end of every class, so extend your arms and your legs long, palms facing up towards the sky. Close your eyes and come back to that gentle awareness of your heartbeat and your breath. With every inhale, send the breath right to your toes and your fingers, so you're filling the body completely as you breathe in and letting go of any leftover tension as you exhale. Now you're more than welcome to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need to, maybe 5 to 10 more breaths if you have time. If you're ready to seal your practice, start to bring your knees in towards your chest and roll over onto one side and press yourself up to seated. If you can, keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands to heart center. And taking a moment to honor your practice by bowing your heads. Together we say Namaste. Now I hope that helped you to learn more about your alignment principles in your standing balances. And please, you can refer back to this at any stage. And we look forward to seeing you again on your mat soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.